Hey, this is Alec, and you know what I haven't done in a while? A collector style video. So today we're going to be looking at not a collection of video game items, but rather a collection of trading card game items. This is the Pokemon trading card game. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the first print run of the very first set of these cards released in December 1998. Now, I was just 8 years old when these cards came out, and I was the ripe age to get really into it at the time. I was watching the anime when I got off the school bus. I was into the video games on the Game Boy and N64, and I was, of course, very into the trading card game. Now, I'm going to go through and explain why these specific cards are in my collection. So we're going to start from the least valuable and rare and move up to the most valuable and rare. So right off the bat, we've got just a stack of loose single cards. These are mostly commons here. Now, you can immediately distinguish a first edition base set card by three main factors. So you've got let me focus here. You got the first edition stamp here on the left. You've got the shadowless border along the right and bottom side of the picture window, and of course English text. These were only shipped out to the east and west coast here in the United States, and it's a very small print run compared to most of the other retro sets like Jungle, Fossil, etc. Only the Neo sets and maybe the e-reader sets rival it in print amount. But of course these are older, they're harder to find in mint at this stage, so yeah, they're very collectible nowadays. So we've got Ghastly, Coughing, Ponyta. These are just your basic cards you can pick up for a few bucks a piece generally. And then you move on to your more valuable commons. These are the starters of the Game Boy game, and of course these are always going to be in higher demand than less, or I guess more generic Pokemon. So these will fetch a premium. Charmander, Squirtle, there's also Bulbasaur and Pikachu. These are just some trainers, and you can see the first edition stamp is down here at the bottom for these. And then we have a rare. This is a trainer rare, and you only get one rare per pack, and of course these packs are quite expensive now, so they're kind of a letdown to pull, especially back in the day, because most people were coming from the Game Boy game and their only interest in collecting the cards was to acquire either all the Pokemon or their favorite Pokemon. So to spend, $3-4 on a pack and get to the rare slot and you've got some trainer that you have no interest in, it was pretty disappointing. But in reality, if you were playing the game, these trainer rares were usually extremely good in play. So moving on to our first graded card. This is another common, and this is Nidoran. This is a Gem Mint 10 example, meaning the highest grade from PSA. You can see it is in pack fresh condition. And I picked up this card not only because it was just really cheap, but also this card has significance in the Game Boy game speedrun in red and blue. To beat the game as quickly as possible, you want to grab a Nidoran male in the beginning areas, and you will then quickly evolve it using leveling up and a Moonstone, and Nidoking basically just sweeps the game from there. Next, we'll move on to our first rare Pokemon. This is Electabuzz, and this guy has a lot of historical significance for this set. He is, I guess you could say, the equivalent of the Vampire Nighthawk from Magic the Gathering. He is extremely easy to play, and he's just way better than he has any right to be.
A Thunder Punch combined with the paralyzing attack move makes Electabuzz arguably the best all-around Pokemon in the game.
So first of all, he's a basic Pokemon, meaning you can just play him at any time, no need to evolve. He's got 70 HP, which is pretty hefty for a basic, and both of his attacks are completely busted. His first one does a little bit of damage and has a 50% chance of causing the opponent's Pokemon to not be able to attack or retreat on the next turn, which basically means he protects his already, substantial health, and it also can secure a next turn knockout where the opponent would have otherwise switched out. His second attack, Thunder Punch, again, 30 damage for 2, which is pretty good. This colorless energy means you can play any energy to get this attack out. So 30 damage for 2, pretty good, but you get a 50% chance of doing 40 damage instead. If you flip a Tails, you do 10 damage to yourself, which sounds bad, but in reality it's pretty insignificant, again, considering because he has good health and an attack that can protect his health as well. So this guy was just super busted. He could take out Pokemon beefier than himself. And his typing was also a big advantage because electric typing in the base set, those 102 cards, out of those 102 cards, there are only 3 Pokemon, 3, that can resist electric, meaning they take 30 less damage from an attack from an electric Pokemon. Those being Diglett, Dugtrio, and Sandshrew. So this guy just completely dominated in competitive play. Hitmonchan over here on the right is kind of in the same situation. So he was a rare holographic, and you only got those 1 out of every 3 packs on average. Quite a bit rarer. Again, he's a basic Pokemon, 70 HP, and his main claim to fame is this first attack here, Jab. So for just 1 energy, you do 20 damage. And there were only 4 basic Pokemon in the entire set that had a straight 20 damage for 1 energy attack. And Hitmonchan was the best of those Pokemon. So you could just get this guy out quickly and start doing a lot of damage very fast. His second attack, Special Punch, is also pretty good. These 2 cards, Hitmonchan and Electabuzz, actually formed the most competitive deck of the time. Let me focus that for you. Which was called Haymaker. So you ran these 2 cards, a few assistant Pokemon cards on the side for certain situations, and then just a ton of trainers, and you basically swept the competition. Let's go on to our sealed items now. We've got the first edition base set pack. So this is the pack that all of these cards came from. You can see the first edition stamp there on the bottom right. And these are actually now rarer than any of the loose cards out there these days. Because, obviously, these have been opened, and more of them continue to be opened over the years as people seek out mint cards. So this is quite a rare item, and I don't plan on ever opening it. And finally, we have the crown jewel of this collection. This is a first edition base set blister pack. So it is a booster pack of the first edition cards sealed inside this blister packaging. And what makes this significant is, first of all, it's a little more rare than the regular booster pack. You get this nice artwork to go along with the pack and some information on the trading card game, including the theme decks here on the back. The Zap theme deck was actually my very first Pokemon TCG item, so that's pretty cool. And not only do you get that extra artwork, but the cards, the card pack inside is protected by this plastic encasing. So as long as the blister pack is in good condition, as long as there aren't any creases over the pack itself and there's no dents in the plastic, the cards are basically in the best possible condition you can find. So whereas this pack, could be dropped, whatever else, and you could get dings on the edge of the cards, this one's guaranteed super mint, never touched by human hands. So that makes it quite special. Also, if you think about it, underneath the most premium first edition base set Pokemon trading card game item, the base set first edition booster box sealed, which is a $70,000 item right now, this is the next premium item down from that. You cannot pull this from a base set booster box, and of course this item comes from here, so it's really its own standalone collectible item, and I splurged on this because I really think it is going to be a very valuable item in the coming decades. So that's going to be the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this very retro look back on the Pokemon TCG, And if you have any questions or comments, leave those below. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the videos on my channel.